but I know in my heart and in my soul and how much I want this and how much I dedicate my life and how much I put in, day out, even when I've been in the darkest of times over these last 2 years when things have been taken out of my hand. I've took no for no answer. I keep pursuing, keep trying to get better and keep taking that 1 foot forward every day. My time's coming back now, I can feel it, and 2024 is going to be massive.
Why Charlie? Why not? I think it's more the question.
2024, I want to be back active, I want to be back busy. Like I said, I've had a bit of inactivity throughout my career in these last 2 years, and it's been tough. But 2024, I want to be back with a bang. I don't want no warm-up fights. I don't want to mess around in 6 and 8 rounders. I want to push forward into big fights only. I want to be in events. I've got a name, I've got a brand, I'm a known fighter. So going into this new year, it should be quite easy to make these fights.
Listen, he's got the pedigree, the ability, the talent. He's a former WBC champion of the world, and I think what impresses me most is his work ethic anyway, but since that he still works as hard now, if not harder than when he won the title, and his aspirations still there. He wants to get back to the top, and you know, when I see the effort he puts in without even having a fight date, that makes it just a no-brainer for me. I'd love to be a part of his story, and if I can help him become world champion again, then that's a big plus for me.
There's a lot of fighters out there who I've got on my radar, who I think will be easy matchmakes to make. A lot of the promoters are now saying that they only want to make these proper fights that the British public want to see. We've seen the YouTube community take over by putting these big fights on where people are getting excited about seeing it. It's changed the game for boxing. It's time now where boxers stop trying to save their own and start taking risks, because as we've seen of lately, fighters that are fighting proper fights, they're getting respect for it. Win, lose or draw. You get in there, you put on a show. It's sports entertainment. It's the highest form of sports entertainment where two people can get in that ring as gladiators and battle it out. One can get hurt, you can both get hurt. It's a real high anticipated sport. So it's the excitement it brings and the thrills it brings. And with the build up and the backing of two fighters that everyone wants to see, it creates big nights for boxing, big nights for sports entertainment, and it's what the public want to see. So
boxing's always been a love for me and my family.
That bite between my teeth and excitement, that thrill, you know, again. And I just couldn't get my head around who it was going to be. And I thought about this person, that person, another person, and it didn't feel right. Like, I didn't just want to make a decision again and just rush it and just try and jump with someone just because it was easy for me or it made things comfortable for me. And I really wanted to take the power into my own hands, where this time in my career, I wanted to create my own team, you know. Instead of being a part of a team, I wanted to create something special and do it like the top fighters do, you know, where you lock in camp. I've got a great facility over here in Portugal. I've got my home gym, which we're sitting in now, the Fight Algarve Academy, and being blue sky, hot country, good, healthy, clean food, being away from distractions, with my wife, with my daughter, it really meant this next decision for me had to be the right one.
There's not a man that I fear. There's nobody here that can stop me. Cause I'm in the league of my own, kid. Y'all can just sit back and watch me. They know who I am, they can't imitate. You stay in your lane, I'ma set it straight. I'm putting my way to the top. You get in my way, you know that I'ma renovate. You know I'm about to lock it. I'm the monster that was looking for just like the lock this. They can not me, they can stop it. They can never see where I'm at, I'm in a rocket.
Shots people can't throw, you just go, boom. I've got a new coach because it was time to change. It was time to take the power into my own hands. I believe I deserve 120% attention from a coach. I believe that what I bring and the hunger, determination, the dedication to the sport of boxing deserves someone to show me that back, solely. And I had decided to team up with Stephen Swifty Smith, an absolute legend of the boxing game.
Training
Classic
better,
saying,
performing
isn't
better.
it? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
It was always boxing for me, and once I retired, I really only retired because of COVID, so I had a sort of a big void which was too big to fill with anything else, so I knew I needed a break. But then once I've had my rest, I'm ready to go with the coaching again, and I've got too much knowledge to pass on to not do it. It'd be criminal if I didn't do that. So this was going to be the journey next, and I'm just proud and privileged that it's starting at such a good level.
And yeah, it's just gone from there. He's passionate, his drive, his hungerness, his willingness is everything that I see in myself. I believe our minds, we're very similar people, our minds collide, and when two dangerous minds like that come together and we collaborate in my experience, his experience, the belief I have in him.
Yeah, I think me and Charlie have got a lot of resemblances in terms of, you know, work ethic. I couldn't have given any more to boxing, and I see Charlie and he literally couldn't give any more to the sport either. So that straight away strikes a resemblance to me, but there's more to it, you know, they're both being fighting and competing in the lighter weights, both, you know, climbing the ranks in that way through work ethic and determination. Also, you know, I've got two younger brothers, both world champions, and Charlie's got a brother world champion. It's just, it's weird that the sibling sort of, you know, pushing each other on, and I think we've both got that too, where we've got a brother where we can...
And probably we'll get advice from his brothers as well, because they're very supportive of everything each other does. It was just a no-brainer, you know, like the Edwards brothers and the Smiths brothers coming together as one. It's going to be a fantastic journey and a fantastic ride, and I believe that he understands boxing so much more than many people, many coaches out there.
So excited to be embarking on my journey as a coach. I think, you know, it's something which is sort of the next step for a lot of people, but it's more so been the next step for me in terms of I've got a really good boxing knowledge, I've got a good boxing brain. I think a lot of people speak highly of, you know, my knowledge of boxing, and I think I can put that into action now with passing it on to other fighters, and just, you know, making fighters better and helping fighters improve is something what I feel I'm good at, and since I've started doing it, I already feel like it's something that I was destined to do. I think this was meant for me, and I think I'm going to be a really good coach. I've just got to prove it in time.
He's young, youthful, fresh. He comes with energy. He's got a point to prove because he never won the world title as a professional boxer. He wants to be in that world champion club, and when the trainer takes a fighter to become a world champion, he's in the world champion club. And I'm really looking forward to the journey to do that with him, because I know I've got a world title in me, but I also know that this guy is taking me to a whole new level.
I was proud and privileged that my name got mentioned in, you know, in them sort of levels as quickly as it did. You know, I was brand new as a coach, but it's an honour for me that someone of that level is putting the trust in me to know that I can help his career develop, and I can push him back towards them world titles. And you know, when he gets that world title, it'll be my way of repaying his faith in me.
And when we start working more and more together, we start flowing together more and more, we're going to go to the top. And I think it's going to be a great journey for everyone to get behind, everyone to watch, because some people will say I've taken a big risk because he's a new coach, but it's not a risk at all. It's the best decision I've probably ever made in my boxing career, because he's been there, he's done it all, he's wore the t-shirt, he's fought at the highest of levels, he's been there with all his brothers along the way and along the journey, he's experienced like no other, and he's got a point to prove. And we're going to prove that point together.
Winning a world title with Charlie will be massive to me. It'll be sort of a career-defining moment so early in my coaching career, but again, more so because of the trust he's shown in me being a new coach. You know, if I go and develop fighters and make them better and make them improve, and people see the good job I'm doing as a coach, then it's quite easy to say I want to work with him. Whereas I'm brand new at the minute, it's a big leap of faith what Charlie's taken in me, and I want to repay that. And the only way I can is by making him world champion again, or, you know, helping him become world champion again. And you know, I know the work ethic's there from him. I know he's got the pedigrees there, the talents there, the abilities there. I've just got to harness that and get it out of him and help him be his best. And you know, I've got every intentions that that's what I'm going to do, and I do believe in him 100% that he will be world champion again. And when he wins that title and, you know, we get back to the changing rooms, then we can both know that the trust in me was worth it. Also, you know, I've got two younger brothers, both world champions, and Charlie's got a brother world champion. It's just, it's weird that the sibling sort of, you know, pushing each other on, and I think we've both got that too, where we've got a brother where we can turn to, ask any questions, look to for advice, you know, at the top of the game, winning world titles. It's also brings its own, you know, pressures, but its own sort of routes to look for, and, you know, look for an example. It's always there for both of us.
When I was a kid coming through, when I was really young, I used to watch him and I used to love his style, his swagger around the ring, his movement, the way he boxed. He was like an idol, like a role model when I was coming through. And he was always nice to me. Like, we never really got into deep conversations and like chats and that, but every time I would see him, he'd always show out and be polite and say hello and like speak highly of me. And I would always say back, and
it was just all we ever knew. And growing up through life, becoming 4 professional boxers, it was just life to us. So I always had someone there to talk to ask questions and everything. It's just always been boxing. It's life, and it's a big part of it. So it was always boxing for me. And once I retired, I really only retired because of COVID. So
before he retired, and he would always give me his time of day, always give me some encouragement and small little advice here and there. And it was really, really heartwarming. So when I've been going through this transition stage and bit in limbo with all the things I had to go through to get myself free from everything, free from promotional, free from managerial, then free from coach, I was in a kind of like no man's land, if you like. And I've been racking my brains and really thinking who it was going to be. And I was sick and tired of being just a number in a gym, or I thought, like, I train really hard anyway on my own. My fitness levels are there. Rodriguez is great, who does a lot of pad work with me and a lot of teaching with me, who's a really good guy out here in Portugal, in Vila Moura, at the Fight Algarve Academy. So I went down to my strength and conditioning coach in England when I was over there for a weekend going back for the boxing. And my strength and conditioning coach is called Johnny Reynolds, so a big shout out to you, Johnny. Thank you for this link up, and thank you for this thought in my mind, which has now manifested into reality.
To be honest with you, it was something that was sort of mentioned to me by a mutual friend. My former S&C coach, Johnny Reynolds, is an S&C coach of Charlie, and he knew Charlie's situation. He was without a trainer and stuff, and it just, my name popped up in conversation one day, and Charlie was a bit like, hang on, Stephen Smith's coaching fighters, and Johnny told him I was. And
like, wow, everything's just come to fruition. It was just like, bing, I was like, oh my God, that guy's got the best boxing brain. Like, he knows how to break down fights, he's been there, done it all, wore the t-shirt, he's experienced to a whole new level, he's been to all the biggest fights all around the world with his brothers, Callum Smith, Beefy Smith. They've gone and fought Canelo Alvarez. He's been there with them alongside them, his trial thing. Johnny linked us together, we started talking. So then he flew out, which showed a big thing to me, him flying here to Portugal and not making me go to Liverpool to do the trial. And we shared a week's training. After the first day, I went back and sat in the house with my wife and we spoke about it, and I was just over the moon buzzing. And she was like, so what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm just gonna play out this week and I'm not gonna be too eager and just see how it goes. And she was like, yeah, but you're buzzing. Like, I can tell that this is meant for you. I can feel it. The way you are, that excitement that it's bringing to you, how you spoke about him for the last couple of weeks while you was waiting for this moment. And I just sat there and I was like, do you know what? You're right. I said, right, this is the plan. Tomorrow, I'm going for a run with him down the marina, and before we even start the run, I'm gonna ask him to be my coach. He won't even know it's coming, but I'm gonna do it straight away because I know this is right. I feel it's right. It's something that I've wanted. He's iterated that he is open and flexible to be able to come out here to Portugal to train me so we can really lock into a professional camp, ultra professional camp. And I can always go to Liverpool as well. So he's flexible with that, which was a big thing for me because I am a family man and I want to see my daughter grow up and I don't want to miss a lot. I spent last year getting my time wasted for like 7-8 months in England without my family, and it's just not on no more. I know my family gives me power and gives me strength and takes me to a new level. So when he understood that and he showed his willingness and alliterated that he would be up for coming here, locking into camp and being flexible with it, I just knew it was right. His boxing brain, what he's done. I went down the marina, we started a run, and yeah, I just asked him straight away and he was a bit shocked. I've actually got my good friend, to video it. So we'll be able to have a look at that.
I was having a little think here. You know my page, yeah? I'm not about it, yeah?
Why do I love boxing? There's a love-hate relationship, boxing. Love-hate relationship. I never went anywhere. But it's the highest of highs, man. Like, it gives me goosebumps even saying that. Like, there is nothing more thrilling and exciting than when your adrenaline is through the roof and you walk out in front of like a 20,000 seater stadium, gladiatorial, into the middle of all that energy, and everyone shouting, screaming, and you're going in there against someone who is a world level fighter who can cause you pain and damage, who could knock you spark out. There's just something not right about it. Like, we're obviously not wired right, us fighters, but it's just to be on the edge of your seat and just see everything. You're like in the Matrix. You see everything going off around you and you need to react. You need to counterpunch, you need to lead off, you need to set traps. It's high level, intense chess with pain. And there is no feeling like that. And I'm a very focused and determined person. Like I said, it's always me versus me. I want to be better than I was yesterday. And for me, it's the battle of myself. We all have that voice in our heads where it's like you try and talk yourself out of something, then you battle against it and you get a win over yourself. And for me, that's what boxing is. I want to be the best version, I want to compete at the highest of levels, and I want to create legacy. And while I'm still young, I'm only 30, people forget that, I'm still young, I'm coming into the peak years of my career, and I want to be in the biggest of fights and create a legacy. There's also a potential rematch against the controversial fight against Celia Jose Martinez, who hit me on the floor back when I was weight drained at flyweight. I believe probably one day he will move up to the bantamweight divisions, and it could be a rematch that many people want to see, many people would see, and one that I would love to get my sweet revenge on. He failed a drugs test after my fight with him, with minor traces of clenbuterol in his system, blamed it on Mexican tainted meat. So it's a fight that really sits there in the back of my mind where I would love to put that wrong right, you know. And when he's not juiced up, when I'm at a weight where I'm actually strong and I can box the head off him, it's a fight out there that could be massive, and it could be the changing opinions of people on me, and it's a legacy moment, and that's what I'm in this game for now, you know. And boxing brings that. I feel like a video game character at times, and especially now all the media's the way the media is, people look at us like video game characters. So for me, the journey is everything. Like, even this last year and a half of absolute bullshit that I've gone through, the lowest of lows, the hardest of battles to get to me where I am today. And that's not mental battles, it's strictly what I've had to go through in the boxing world, which many people don't understand the boxing business and what goes on around it. And that's why I've been inactive. Not because I've chose to be inactive. I've been in the gym every single day working my ass off, not been on no holidays. I feel sorry for my wife. She's stuck there with me every day, and I'd go and train 6 days a week, every week, always putting it in. And I live and breathe this sport of boxing. I'm obsessed with it. And it's gonna come back and it's gonna show. And all this dark, hard, miserable time where I've gone away from the scene and people thought I had retired, it's gonna be bittersweet when I boom back on the scene, and that's why I want big fights. Not bad, is it? December. doing sprints on the beach next to the sea, peace of mind. It's a lifestyle, this. Proper lifestyle. Training hard, dedicating yourself, being consistent, being positive, in a nice surrounding at the beach. Blessed, man, blessed.
Charlie being as experienced as he is, I trust his judgment, but I'll also give my own input. Good thing about this sort of relationship is when you've got an experienced fighter, someone who's won, been the top, been world champion in the past, when he looks at the division, in his own in-depth way, I'll be looking at it, planning a route for him, but he's going to be looking at his own opposition and thinking, he might slightly prefer one more than the other. I'll always trust his judgment. I think, he's got to be the man to pick the man type, so to speak. But I think I'll always give my input, and I think he values my opinion. I think I'll tell him, what way I think the fight will go and how I think it'll best suit Charlie. But I think he's at that point in his career now where he's really experienced, and I think he looks at each opposition with maybe some more preferable than others because of stylistically the way fights match up. Some people will suit you more than others, so I trust his judgment on that, but I'll always give him my backing. I'm all in, believe me, and I want the chance to show that. I think Charlie knows I'm all in, but...
Would I call myself an underdog? Absolutely not. I believe I'm one of the most avoided fighters at my weight in Britain right now. The only people that are above me are messing around. One's flying off to all these mad countries fighting absolute nobodies in sports halls and not actually fighting proper fights just to get world rankings. The other one is doing the same. No one's calling me. So am I the underdog? Absolutely not. I'm a high risk. People don't want to fight me. And that's how it is. It's really, really frustrating. It's pissing me off. We're going into 2024 looking for these fights, looking to back these people into a corner and get these fights on. Let's do it for the British public. Let's stop fucking about and let's go out there and make some proper fights, some proper British dust-ups. Let's not mess around.